Good morning. Hey, this morning I got up like 8 o'clock in the morning and I spent like an hour and 20 minutes just messing around with YouTube videos and things. So I get it. I get what the problem is that you guys have with not going out and doing something. Is you're addicted to things that are taking all your time, sucking it up, and at the end you got no reason and no drive to go do what you need to do. So this morning we're going to flip through some things on video that take a little while, but I'm going to show you kind of what I do when I figure the numbers. And we're going to look at 3 duplexes for sale right now. So let me jump right into this. This is a real deal. I don't think I will buy it because the numbers aren't good enough, but we'll get into it. So the price of the house is $795, and what we're going to do is just create a spreadsheet, and through the spreadsheet we're just going to figure out what the numbers are. Property taxes in 2021, it says were $3,061. Okay, so we're going to take that times 3 times 3. Just do it and I'll update it. 8. Okay, so 2021 was 3,001, and so let's just look this up and say, what does Grain Valley have? That's where it is, Grain Valley, Missouri. Okay, so we're going to pop this over here. Oh my gosh, stupid thing. Appraised value 200,000 was assessed at 0.19, and so we're going to take this value equals this times 0.19, and then it's going to say divided by 100, divided by 100. So the city's portion of property tax would be $1,550. So one of the difficulties is to figure out what your property taxes are. Look at the original 3,000. This is the city's portion of property taxes, and so I'm going to have to estimate, because people get stuck with the details of the numbers, but what you really want is just kind of ballparks to know if you need to look at the deal or how good the deal is. So this says 1550.77, 200,000. What's the tax rate in Missouri? Home property taxes, we're going to look at this. 0.88 is the state property tax rate, and the average is 0.19. So they said it was 3.3. So effective tax rate 1.45. What I'm going to guess is that this 3,000 is based on a $200,000, and your effective tax rate, we're just going to take 1.45. So we're just going to do this times 1.045. Is that 10? Yeah. Okay. So instead of this 9,000, we're going to figure the tax rate is 11 based on this valuation of the property. Now, second cost, we're going to look at management. And management rates anywhere from 8 to 10% of rents. And so we are going to come up here and we're going to put rent, which I know the current rent equals 3 of them are $800 a month times 5 plus 1 is $950 a month. And so this is monthly, and this is yearly. And then we're going to figure management right here equals blank times 0.1. So we'll go 10% here. Okay, so these are 2 costs, property management and property taxes. Now you have insurance, which we do not have quotes on insurance, but a house up there, insurance right now is $800, so we're just going to put in $2,500 for insurance per year. And then we have maintenance. If I spelled that right. First year maintenance, most of it will include in purchase price, and so let's just figure $3,000 a year for maintenance. That's most of the costs that are going to incur. So we can make it more accurate before. So we're just going to add this up. Sum of blank ching equals blank divided by 12. Okay, so you look at $1,933, $13 per month for maintenance, and now let's just go up here and say equals blank. So we'll just figure this as a portion of our monthly rent. So it says 38% of rent, and that is because the rents are low at this number. Now, market rent. So market rent, I think we can be conservative and just say it's $6,000 a month, so that yearly it's this. And so let's look at how our numbers turn out. And so we're going to do a couple ratios that's going to allow us to know whether to pursue this deal. One is going to be just rent divided by price. And rent divided by price is going to be this rent, yearly, divided by this price. We're going to add anything into that. We're just going to figure this ratio. This is the best rate of return we can get on this property. The current cost of money is between 7.5% and 8%. So what this means in this deal is that if you just look at the numbers and you say my cost of money is 7.5 to 8%, and the rent to the highest return I can get on the property at current ratio is 7.47, then it is worth exactly that. There's no profit in there for your risk. Now, one of the differences in this price would be if you went in and said, okay, I'm going to bump market rent divided by price, and I'm going to bump everybody's rent up as soon as we can. I don't like to do that. Maybe it makes money, but it's not really good to people, and so we're going to just do that ratio. See how that comes out. I don't think I did that right. I would take the yearly. Okay, yearly divided with this. 9.06. So if it was rented at market rates, it's worth $7.95. So to make it worth $7.95, you're going to have to bump everybody's rent immediately, which you can't do, and it's not good to do. And so let's just put something in here which says how much would we bump people's rents? Well, if the rent's $800, I would probably go to $850. So we're just going to put this in here as a question mark. So we would probably go to $850 times 5 plus $950. So $950 would probably be okay. We'll figure what that is per year, and probably in a few months your ratio would look like this. But this is still in this range of, it's just your cost of money. Now, the value of money to me, a couple things, pretty easy. I have a loan at 7.25% that I could pay off, that I could pay down instead of putting money in this. I also have 5.3% bonds or CDs right now that I could do with money, and these are pretty much very low to no risk options for me. So let's talk about why I want to do this deal, because I really would like to do it. And we'll go back to this page right here. A couple reasons I'd like to do it. Number one, you get 3 brick duplexes. Now if you look at 3 brick duplexes in this location, rents are below market, so each year you're going to get a bump in your rents. The question would be, at 5 years out, what is your ratio and what is your return, and how much did that cost you to get there? So we go back to these numbers and we go and say, okay, let's just figure this, okay? We've got our cost of $795. And then we've got our 5 years, and let's say each year we bump the rent by $50 for the 5 units, and let's say $100 total for the other one, okay? So then you've got the original $800. So you got this original rent plus 50 times 5 plus 100. So $5,300 a month in rent is what that ends up. I don't think I did that right. Oh, 5 units. So 5, and then the 1. So each unit we're going to bump. This is 5 units. We bump each unit $50, 5 times. That's 25. We bump the last unit by 100 total, and that's what we're going to figure our numbers. That puts us at $75,600 in rent. Now, if you look at that, you say 5 years, okay, equals this divided by this, okay? Now this is not really a true number. This says after 5 years, we're going to make, as a return on the total amount of money in there, 9.5%. Now that's not true, because if we're going to carry this property for 5 years, we're going to have to put money in to the property because our cash flow is going to be negative. And so I'm going to change this number, and I'm going to say equals this divided by this. Same number, but in this number we're going to go change this number, and we're going to say that we put in 1,000. Let's say we put cash into the property so that we get into $1,000 a month times 60 months. So over that period we've put an additional $60,000 in by kicking in money to our cash flow by $1,000 a month. It's only $1,000. Now you're getting a return of 8.84 coming out of that property. Still does not make a lot of sense. So this is kind of what I think about when I look at these deals. Cost of money here, what the ratio of rent top line to that is, what my expenses are. Obviously the ratio bottom line is going to be very simple to figure, because you're going to take this and take it times your 1 minus your expense ratio, and that means that your net return on money is 400.58% after your expenses. So really you're making less than you would on your CDs or government bonds. However, CDs and government bonds are not a 5-year increasing return product. And in 5 years, you don't know what your return is going to be. And you have no control over your return. In this asset, you're looking at 5 years, and your return, if you did it putting all that money in, is still 8.84%, right? And so you've negative cash flowed, you've bought it, you've held it 5 years, you've increased rent, you basically try to increase, benefit the situation over time. And so what really looks at this situation determines is, number one, can you make profit on the situation, or how much cash do you have to put in to make profit? Number two, after 5 years, what will the situation look like, and is that situation a place you want to be? Number three, what are your other investment opportunities at the time? And that's what I look at to make these decisions. It's not so straightforward as just, is this place a good place to put your money? Can I qualify the interest rates? It's more about how these numbers and what the situation looks like, and what does it feel like, right? Now, I will give you a perspective, because if you compare this to other investments, so for instance VOO, if you put straight cash in VOO, you're making about 1.5% cash out. And that's really all you're looking at here, is your cash being made by this asset, right? If you straight cash purchased it. And that is way less than this. And so if you're sitting in VOO, maybe you do that. The other thing is, as your rents increase, or your market rents increase, your value of your property also increases over time. And so that's how you make your money. And it's not a horrible purchase. If you had $795,000 sitting on the side, you would start making immediately, 4.58%, and then over time you're going to increase that. Now, if you look at here, you do this, then we're going to go over here, and we're going to just say basically equals this times 21 minus this. Let's say my ratios end up similar, but 5.4%. I don't know. I mean, it's certainly not a compelling deal. Not something I'm going to go create a whole system around making 5.4%. If I'm going to make 5.4%, I'll probably just buy bonds or CDs. But I'll keep my eye open and see if there's a reason to do it. One reason might be to sell, if I'm going to sell a property and do a 1031 exchange and pull, and most of this contribution is from equity. My equity today might be earning 5% before expenses and 3% after. And if I roll into this, it might cost me $20,000 to roll into it, and then my equity might be making, this percent, 7.5, and then 4.58% after expenses. So I may have went up by, 2.5% by spending that $20,000. And how long does it take me to get that money out of that property, if that's how I do it? But I wanted to share this with you today. I know it's long. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. Give me a comment and tell me what you want to see in a video. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.